How's it going, everybody? I'm Driftwood and welcome back to Learning GMS2. So in this video we're going to go over how to make a simple enemy spawner so that your game can continue to populate itself with enemies and you can keep killing. You don't have to restart the game once you kill all the enemies. Also, if you're following along, I want to clean up a few things we did in the past episodes. So just to save resources, we can actually consolidate some of the script that we did inside the OBJ splash and actually attach that to the OBJ press enter to start. So the OBJ splash is just checking if we're pressing enter and it's going to go to the next room. So that's all it's doing. So right now we can sort of get rid of it. So we'll just cut that out and we'll delete the OBJ splash to have less objects. And if you're using a trial, maybe it's something you actually need to do. So we'll open up OBJ, press enter to start, and on the step event, we're also going to say boom. So it not only adjusts the alpha to make it blend in and out, also in the same event, we'll check the enter on this event, completely eliminating the splash event from needing to be there. And so all we'd have to do is make sure that we have the press enter to start object, and it does the same thing as what the splash object does. There, we freed up an object we didn't need. Another thing I wanted to clean up is on the step event, all the way back from the beginning in episode 1, we talked about a simple way to move the player around using the keyboard, and we've got the value of 3 arbitrarily inside the move, the step event to move the player around. But what we can do on the create event is give the player another stat. We're going to say move speed or player move. We'll just go player move speed, and we'll set that to whatever we want. We'll say 4 to make the player move around a little bit faster. Now what we can do is take this player move speed, copy that, and paste it over 3. That way, if we ever want to change the player's speed, instead of having to go and write the new number every time in 4 places, we just write it in 1 place. This also gives us the ability to adjust the player's move speed from other objects by accessing obj underscore player dot player move speed. And then we can set or increase or change that from any other object or script call or anything like that. So that's just some cleaning up I wanted to do. So we've got that cleaned up and we've freed up an object. Cool. So let's move on to creating an enemy spawner, right? So there's 2 things I want to do with this spawner. I want to create an object that actually creates that cycles through and spawns the enemy, but I also want to create an object that makes the enemy, when it spawns the enemy, it like starts as a small object and grows bigger. So let's do that. So let's create a new object. We're going to call this obj underscore spawner. We'll just call it enemy spawner. We'll just call it spawner. And this particular object doesn't really need any graphic, because this is just going to be like something that's going to check on an alarm. So if you've never heard of an alarm, it runs, it's like a timer. So it's just basically a timer. So let's go ahead and set this up. We're going to add a new event. We're going to add a create event to our spawner, and this create event is just going to create the monster, right? So instance underscore create underscore layer, and we're going to need some values. So what values do we need to do this? We need an X, a Y, the layer, and the object. So let's see, where do we want it to be? Well, if we just have them all coming from one spot, it would be kind of boring, right? You just stand at that one spot and unload on them. So let's give it the ability for enemies to spawn anywhere on the map. So we're going to say random. Remember, we used this function before, and it'll return a random number. And we're going to use a new thing here, room width. So room width is basically, it stores the value of this number right here. So we're going to go from anywhere from 0 to 1280 for our X value. And then we're going to do the same thing for our height. Random room height. There we go. And that's going to be our Y. Then we have to name the layer that we want to put it in. So this is going to be on this map. Oh no, I'm sorry, it's going to be on this map, right, where the enemies are. So we've got these layers to choose from. So instance layer is a good enough place to put it. So let's go back to our object spawner, and we're going to go here and put in instance layer. And I believe it is cap sensitive, so you have to be careful about that. Now we have to say, what object do we want to spawn? obj underscore enemy. And so we're going to spawn an enemy anywhere randomly on that map, but it's only going to do that once. But if we want it to repeat itself, we have to do a timer, right? So we're going to make a timer using an alarm. So alarm 0. We're going to use the first alarm, which as an array, it starts at 0. So alarm 0, and we're going to set it to a number. So this number is going to be, this number basically, every frame the alarm ticks down. So if you're running at 60 frames per second, there's 60 that's going to go by. So this means every second it's going to do that, which is a little bit high. Probably like every 3 seconds would make sense, or even every 2 seconds. But we can also this actually needs to be on the alarm itself, I think. Yeah, so let's cut this. We have to actually do that on the alarm. So add event and then go to alarm 0, and then we're going to paste that there. So alarm 0, and then on the create, I think all we have to do is like set the alarm the first time, and then say we can create a variable like our spawn rate. So let's do spawn rate equals whatever we want. So we can change spawn rate later, say every 2 seconds. And we're going to go alarm 0 equals spawn rate. And then alarm 0 right here is going to be the same thing, spawn rate. You just hit tab to autofill that. So at the beginning, it's going to set a variable, and then it's going to start the alarm 0 from in 2 seconds, right? At 60 frames per second. So it's going to just set the variable and then trigger the alarm when this many frames has happened. So after this many frames has happened, it's going to do this event. And this event is creating an object at a random location on instance layer. And it's also resetting the alarm. So it's going to keep happening over and over and over. So cool. Let's save this. Oh, actually, we have to put it on our map, right? So let's go to room 1 and go to resources and drag our spawner anywhere we want. This doesn't have an image, so it doesn't really matter where we put it. So let's go ahead and see if it spawns enemies all over the map. Just kill these enemies. You see it spawned an enemy down there. Boom. So every couple seconds, it's going to keep spawning enemies. But there's a little trick I learned that instead of just making them pop in, we can basically, see, we took a hit there. It killed it, but eventually we would die if we took too many hits. We're going to do health bars probably in the next one. I think that'd be a good idea so we can see our health. But anyway, our spawner's working. Let's make it so that it looks a little more, a little cooler when they pop in. So we're going to make another object. We're going to create a new object. And this is going to be like our obj underscore, like our spawn animator or something like that. So we'll just say spawn animator. And this object is going to have a create and a step. So we're going to add a create, add a new event, create event. Clear out that. And we actually don't, oh yeah, we would, because we want to reduce its size. So we're going to say image underscore x scale equals something small, 0.01 image underscore y scale equals 0.02. That's it for that. Let's go ahead and go to the step, which is going to happen every frame of the game. And the step is going to say, we're going to basically make it start small and get big over time. image underscore x scale equals min, which is basically the same thing as max, but the opposite. So min is going to look at these parameters, these arguments, and take the lowest value. It'll always take the lowest value. So we're going to say, take the lowest value from image x scale plus 0.0025, or any arbitrary number you want, something very small, and 0.25. So that's going to scale the x scale. And we'll do the y scale. We could do the same thing. Y scale. Or we can just go. It's a cool trick. Image under x scale, which is basically, it's setting the value of this to this same value. So it's the same thing as if we were to just copy this and paste this right here. Boom. But it's actually using less code, so I would think it would be more efficient, actually. So we'll just do it that way. Good stuff. Okay, if we're going to make a conditional statement now, it's going to see if the sprite size is big enough, then transfer and then change this object into another object. But we have to do two things. We need to set this to have the same sprite as an enemy, and probably we want to make this the minimum number between. Let's change this up a little bit. Let's say 1 and 0.01. And just we'll play with the numbers around and see what happens. So image x scale. So if this is 1, what do we want to happen? Change, right? We want it to change. Instance create. Instance change. Instance change into our object enemy. If image x scale is equal to 1, same thing we were talking about in an earlier one, we're using it as a comparison operation, so we're using 2. So if it's equal to 1, if 1 is the minimum number, then change into that enemy. Do we want anything else to happen? We could actually make an animation that happens for when it spawns too. What is it asking for here? Perform events? I think that means do we want this object enemy to run its creation code? We probably want that to happen. So we'll set that to true. I kind of want to set it to false and see how it works. It'll probably crash if we did that, but we'll leave it true. I kind of want to make an animation, so let's do that too. Instance underscore create underscore layer, and we want to do probably just X and Y, and then this will be on. Actually, we'll put this on bullet layer. Bullet layer. Wouldn't matter too much. And we're going to create an object that we don't have yet. So we're going to say obj underscore lightning or fire. We're just going to say fire. We don't have that object yet, so it'll crash if we did this. But we're going to create that object. So let's create a new object. Obj underscore fire. We have to make a sprite for it, so we're going to come back to that. Let's make a sprite for fire. Okay, before we actually do this, let's see what it looks like, and we'll make an animation after this. Do we need to put this spawner in here? How do we get the spawner to? If we change the timer on we changed the timer to spawn the spawn animator instead of the enemy, then it should work. Because we've already got the spawner in. So let's go ahead and see how it looks now. Or if we crash. There we go. It seems like they're just still popping in. They're just popping in. Maybe our numbers are too large because it's happening so fast, right? So let's go back to our spawn animator. Or our spawner. Nope, not that one. Our spawn animator. Let's go here. Take the minimum number right here. Let's go 0, 1 like that. So it's going to keep increasing by that much, so 100 seconds. So it'll take like 10 seconds like that though. It'll take like 5 seconds probably to get. And then if the X scale is 1, then change the enemy. Okay, let's see what happens. Oh, I know what's happening, guys. We didn't set the spawn animator to have the same sprite as the enemy. So we need to do that so this actually goes up in size. So we can see it growing. Let's see if it works now. Our numbers might have been fine. Let's kill these guys and see if we can see them. Yeah, see, our numbers were good. Boom. See them right there getting from very tiny, and then it just pops in because the size of our objects is like 3 right now. We need to eventually reduce the size and make a camera. We'll do that eventually. So let's go ahead and change this around a bit. So this is going to change to 3, and if this is 3, we're also going to change this to make it like a lot faster. So like maybe 10 times faster. And see what happens. Kill these guys. There we go. Now they're growing appropriately. Boom. Boom. You see them pop in. And you have a chance that gives you time to get away from them if they start to spawn right next to you. Like if they're popping up right next to you, you can get out of their range before they just appear and hit you. So that gives you a little warning, and it's a little more easier on the player to do it that way. Also, our bullets are a little strong. Let's instead of reducing the HP of our, we could either reduce the amount of bullets, but I don't want to do that because it looks so cool, by putting like a throttle on it. Let's actually go to the bullet power and adjust the bullet power to just be 1 and see how that goes. So it'll take 3 times as many bullets to kill him. But we're pumping out a ton of bullets, so that should be fine. So now we need to create a sprite. Let's create a sprite. We're going to call it SPR_fire. And let's edit this to be 16 pixels. We're maintain aspect ratio, so 16, enter. And then we'll go ahead and control and zoom in. We'll go ahead and set that origin to center, middle center. Double click on that. Zoom out just a bit. Let's get like this fire and whoa, holy crap. Let's try that. Yeah, so we're gonna start like this. It's gonna look weird with that square on the side. Maybe we should sort of go something like this. Something like that. Yeah, that looks better. Now what we're gonna do is change the Yeah, let's change it up a little bit. Change the color and the size. And go like, we'll color like the insides of it a little bit. Be something like that. And then we'll do the same thing. Go into like a little bit of a lighter color. And maybe one more. It's sort of kind of like I got the colors backwards, didn't I? Like it should have been yellow on the outside and then kind of red on the inside. Here, I have an idea. Let's, I don't know. I guess that could work. No, that's fine. We'll leave it like that. But what we're going to do is we're going to copy this and paste it a bunch. 8 frames should be fine. And let's sort of animate it a little bit. Let's take this color and like this sprite. And maybe like, I don't know. Maybe we'll do the circle. We'll do the circle one. Let's just mess around and see what happens. Why is our brush acting so weird? Oh, I know why. Hold on. Can we undo that? Undo, 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 undo. Okay, and then we'll copy this and paste that. Because we're using the fill thing on the animation, we should be using the pencil tool. Okay, so we'll copy this and paste that to give us 8 frames again. And then we'll kind of just animate like that. Like this. And then we'll kind of take a little bit of this color in there. And a little bit of this color as well. And then maybe even a little bit of this color. Wow, that's coming out cooler than I actually thought it was going to be. Really nice. Wow, I'm really happy with that. That came out beautiful. Wow, that was so easy too. What about if we do like some smoke now? Like little dots of smoke. Let's see, how would I do that? Like boom, boom, boom. I feel like our brush is a little big. Let's... I can't... Oh, because we're doing that little circle thing. Wow, that is so cool. Look how fast we made that awesome fire animation, guys. That's fucking cool. Alright, let's save that. Super awesome. Let's go ahead and assign this sprite to the fire object. Wow, super happy with that. Okay. And let's see. It's very small, right? So on the create event, we need to change it image underscore x scale equals... Wait, we could actually ignore the x scale and have it start at 1, skip the whole create phase, and actually just add a step event. And yeah, this is how we're going to do it. We're going to go image underscore alpha equals 0.01 and image underscore x scale equals 0.1 image underscore y scale equals 0.1. And, oh, we can actually do this. I like that little referencing it thing. So that whenever we change X scale, it'll also change the Y scale. And we'll say if, well, we need to do one more thing first before we, but here's what we're going to do. Here's how we're going to get rid of it. We're going to go image underscore alpha. If image alpha is greater than or equal to 1, then we're going to go instance underscore destroy. So when our alpha is at full capacity, we're going to destroy it. So that means it'll last for, how long do we want it to last? 10 would be that, 100 frames, and then 200 frames. So that's like 3 seconds. That'll be about so that's fine. So we need to go on the step phase. Oh shoot, we actually need all of this on the, we need this stuff on the create phase. Sorry about that. Create. And then on the step, what we do is we need to go like this. Image underscore alpha equals image underscore alpha plus 0. Like that. So it's going to keep getting more visible. It's going to start kind of transparent though. That might look weird. What if we start it, let's reverse it, right? So we're going to start it with 1, which means we don't actually need it there, but whatever. Image alpha, and then we're going to subtract, and then we're going to say if the alpha is less than or equals 0, then we get rid of it. So when it turns transparent and we can't see it anymore, it just disappears, and we don't lose memory for having that around. So that's cool. Let's go ahead and go back to the spawn animator, and let's get rid of this comment, and then when we change this object to something else, we're also probably do this right before. I think it would work the same if we did it like that, but let's play that fire animation. So it's going to create an object and change this object into another object. Ooh, I want to see what that looks like. We probably need to adjust the scale, to be honest, of the fire, because it's going to look so small. It's going to be way small. We don't actually need to make it so small right there. Let's just mess with its alpha instead of its, we don't actually need that at all now, because it's going to start at 1. Okay, here's what we're going to do. We're going to say image x scale equals 3. And we don't need to mess with it at all, so we're going to go back to the create. There we go. I'm pretty sure that's good now. So at the beginning, we're going to say it's 3 times the size of its normal, 4 times the size of its normal. So it's 64 by 64. It's going to have, 64 by 64. And it's going to be completely visible. And every frame it's going to get less visible, and when it gets completely invisible, it's going to destroy itself. That should work. And then the spawner, one last check, it should create that object and then change this object. Ooh, this might look cool. Let's see what happens. Let's see what happens. Come on and load. I shouldn't have made 30 frames on a 1280 by 720 picture. I should just get rid of like the animation on that, because it just takes forever to load. It's too much. It looks neat though. Alright, let's kill these things. Wow, it takes a lot to kill them now, because it takes 100 bullets. But we can see that little fire animation came out pretty nice. Pretty nice. It's also the game got increasingly harder because of how many bullets these things take. So I'm gonna, we had it at 3, which was too easy. We have it at 1 now, the power of the bullets I'm referring to. So it's too hard, so let's just change it to 2. So let's go back to SPR bullet. Oh no, not SPR. Object bullet. and change bullet power to 2 and just test the feel of the game. I think that should be about right. I like our little spawner. I like the graphics that we made for it. Boom, they don't die instantly, but they don't take forever to kill. That's cool. So you can wait, I kind of want the fire to happen before they I don't want it to I want the fire to happen and then they come out of the fire. Not well, that actually looks pretty decent. I don't know, it's completely subjective. I do want to try one last thing though. That's so cool. I want to try one last thing. On the fire object, can we, or no, on the spawner, when we call on it, can we actually make a delay? Like wait? I don't know. We can make an alarm, yeah. We can do an alarm and then let's try this. On the create, we're gonna set an alarm. Alarm 0 equals 60. So in 1 second, it's going to do this. Wait, copy, cut that, and then let's create the alarm 0. So alarm 0, and then boom. So at the beginning when it's created, it's going to set the size to be super small of this spawn animator. And then it's going to trigger 1 second. And then after a second, it's going to explode in fire. And then, however long this takes to get to 3. So let's see. 1 second would be 60. So 60 times 5 would be 3. Oh, it's about the same. Let's set this to the alarm to be 30 then. So now, by adjusting the time on this alarm, if I did it right, we should be able to control when the fire happens. Which didn't look bad, but I kind of wanted it to be a little bit different. Boom. So now it starts and then it catches fire as it's going up. Boom. 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 And we could even further tweak that. Let's actually change that to 15. Boom. Now I'm just messing around. That's really going to do it for this tutorial, guys. I'm just messing around with it now. But you guys got the idea on how to do that. We made a cool spawn animator. We made an enemy spawner. And we made a new sprite. We made a really cool looking fire sprite, which is really neat. And it was super easy to do, you saw that. So I'd recommend you guys mess around with the animator. It's one of the coolest features. The layers in Game Maker and I gotta stop playing it now because it's just wrecking my train of thought. The layering system in GMS2 is great, and the sprite animator is super great, super awesome. But yeah, that's going to do it for this video tutorial. Hopefully you guys found it enjoyable and helpful. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you did enjoy it, please smash that like button. Let me know you enjoy these GMS2 tutorials. Look forward to more in the future. Subscribe to the channel if you're new here. I have lots of RPG Maker tutorials, and I plan to make lots of GMS2 tutorials. So hopefully you stick with me. If you're interested in watching me do funny voices and weird things, you can watch my first impressions videos. I play other people's games, mostly RPG Maker MV games. So yeah, that's going to do it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. We'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.